Hi everyone, it's Aaron Runk. In my last tutorial, you saw how we went over some of the basics for using FeatureCam. In this tutorial, we're going to go a little bit further into it, so I'll start by creating a new document. I'm not going to set any of my dimensions just yet, so I'm going to hit cancel. And in the description for this video, there were two downloads. There's a standard solid model, and then there's a post processor. Now these two I'm going to download and use for this tutorial. So I'm going to pull this off the screen so I can drag and drop them right over. So I'm going to drag my model into here, and then I'm going to hit yes because I want to import it. I'm going to use the wizard. We're going to establish our location. So I'm going to pick 2 points in Z. But before I click 2 points in Z, I'm going to right click, go to rotate, and I want to kind of shoot for this corner right here. So I'm going to click 2 points. When I move my cursor up to it, it doesn't matter if it's on that one or this one, but I got to make sure I pick the bottom, and then my next point has to be higher. Doesn't matter how much higher, it just has to be higher. So I click again, and then I'm going to hit next because my Z has been established. I'm going to hit 2 points for the X direction. So I'll click right here, and again, I want to go any amount this direction as long as it's on that same line. I'll click again, and then when I click top, you'll see that my Z is pointing straight up and my X is going up. Now I usually like to look at it like this, so I clicked that to rotate it. So my Y is going up and down, my X is going right and left, and Z is straight up. So I will hit next, and then I'm going to go into block, and now I'm going to enter some custom sizing. That's why we didn't start off with those sizes. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to put my length at 8 inches, 250. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to put my width at 5 inches. If you'll notice that it says the block is 8 inches by 5 inches, but I'm going to put a 1/4 inch on each side. And then for the overall thickness, I'm going to go 1 inch 50 thousandths. And then I'm going to click offset the imported data. I'm going to hit center. So when I hit click center, you'll see that it puts everything in location. And then I'm simply going to hit next. I'm going to put my user coordinate system up here in the upper left. Now keep in mind, based on what we're doing, it can be anywhere on this model. We're just going to put it in the upper left for right now. And then I'll hit next again. There is no 4th axis or 5th axis positioning. I will hit next, and we are all done. So I will click finish. One thing I like to do is I like to go into isometric mode, and I click off of it so you can kind of see what it looks like. And that other downloadable file, I'm going to drag and drop it over here. And when I drag it over here, you're going to see this post processor change. And once I drop it, you'll see that it'll kind of flicker, and then it will say the correct post processor. Now we are using the basic tool crib again, so that's fine. And now we are ready to start adding our features, which this will go pretty quick. So the first feature we're going to be using is we're going to go up here, make sure we're in the Home tab, go to Features, we're going to go to Face. We're not going to put anything in the offset. We're just going to leave the top of it Z0, and I'm going to click Finish. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to change this to 3D view, and I'm simply going to hit play. And you can see it comes across with that face mode. Now it's not going to remove any material because Z0 is the top of our part. So if you wanted to lower it 1/1000th of an inch so that you could see material being removed, you can do that. So I'm going to hit eject. Now we're going to start creating a boss. Now a boss is what this part is. So from the bottom, if I hit front, this would be like the surface, and as stuff grows upward, that is going to be a boss, anything like that. So this will be a pocket. The actual part itself is a boss. So I'm going to go into Features, and we're going to create a boss of the actual part. So I'll go Boss from Curve. I'm going to extract with Feature Recognition. Now this is where it makes things really easy. I'm going to select a horizontal surface. I'm going to hit next. Now right here it wants me to select the surfaces. See how it's asking for them? So I like to go into rotate, and I'm going to click the bottom. I'm going to click add. and then I'm going to rotate again. Now if I hold my scrolling mouse, it stays in the rotate, and then I'm simply going to go next. Now right here, it thinks the part is below it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select top. I'm just going to put 0, and on bottom, it should already be correct. So if I hit preview, you'll see that it is there, but oh, it's not correct. I need to select the bottom of the part. So when I select bottom, I can simply select the bottom of the part. I'll zoom up. It should go green, and you can see that it is the bottom of the actual material. So then I'll hit next. It's got the height of everything. I'll hit next again. And again, I'm just going to hit finish. We're not going to change a lot of things. Like I said, in the previous video, we went over some of those details. So I'm going to hit OK, and then I'm simply going to hit play. So it's going to do the facing again, and then it's going to come over here and it's going to start doing my boss, which is really neat. So I'm going to hit eject, and I'm going to do this little side right here. Okay, so we're going to do this surface so we can take out this little step right here. So we're going to go back into features. I'm going to go to side, extract with feature recognition. We're going to stay in this pretty much the whole setup. I'll hit next. Now instead of using horizontal surface, we're going to go to select sides, and I'll hit next. I'll click that one. I'll hit add, and I'll click that one and I'll hit add, and I'll simply hit next and finish. Now I want to make sure this arrow is pointing the right direction. If it's pointing the wrong direction, it's not going to work. So I'll make sure it is pointing out. I'll hit next, and everything looks like it's in the right location. I'll hit finish. Then I'll hit OK. Then I'll hit play. So again, my facing, my boss, and then it will start doing that side right there. So there is different ways of doing it. If I tried to do a horizontal surface, it would try to think that this was a pocket, and it would not do it right. So again, got to be very particular on which one we're using for options. So I'll hit eject. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and make these other sides right here before I do the pocket and my holes. So I'll leave it in isometric view. I'll actually switch to this side so we can see a little bit better. Now we'll do another side where we'll also select sides, and then we'll do this one right here and then this side right here. So I'm going to go into features. I'm going to go into next. I'm going to select surfaces, and then I'm going to click right here. But this one's a little different. I'm going to zoom up on it. I'm going to change to pan so I can kind of move it. And I'm going to select this surface. Well, if I hold control and then left click it, you can see I can start moving. And then I'm going to rotate it while still holding control. And then I'll hit add those surfaces. Everything looks to be the right direction. I'm going to hit finish. I'm going to hit OK, and then I'll hit play. And then I'll speed it up just a little bit, because the more features we add, the longer it will take to get some of this done. So you can see it gets that all done. So let's go ahead and do these last two. And again, there are multiple ways of doing it, but this way works really stinking good. So let's go to here. I'm going to see if we can just add this one. I'm going to hit add, next, and finish. And then we'll do the other one as well. I'll hit OK. I'll go up to features, next, sides, select it. We're going to go add, next, and finish. Hit OK. It says, it wants to make sure it's right. And if it does something weird, we can also go back and look at it and see what's going on. I'll hit eject and play. So now it's going to do my facing. It's got my boss. It's going to take away that step on the back side of it. It's going to do that first side. It's doing that right there. And of course, it's using really big tools right here. So it's getting everything that we need done. Now, if I didn't have 1-inch tools for everything, we'd have to come back through here and change it. And then we're going to do that here in a minute. But let's go ahead and get the rest of these features all done. So the next thing I want to do, I can't plug in my holes because it will crash through the actual part. So I'm going to go up and we're going to make a pocket, which is just as easy. We'll go to features. We're going to go to pocket. Again, we have extract with feature recognition. And then I'm going to select a horizontal surface, and I'm going to click the bottom of the pocket so it doesn't try to select all those holes. I'll hit face for yes, And you'll see on this one, because there's no way to get around it, it's going to select above the top of the material, and then it's going to select around it. And then I'll simply hit finish, hit OK, and then I'll hit play. So notice we're going through it really quick because we want to see these features generate the right toolpath. And once these toolpaths are generated, we're going to go through and start editing a little bit of it. So notice how it put the pocket in there first. Now it did that automatically. It did an automatic reordering because it wants that pocket gone so that these tools will be less likely to get buildup when they're cutting or whatever its reasoning was. So I'll hit eject. And then this is where it gets really neat. I'm going to go to features. I'm going to go to holes. We're going to extract with feature recognition, hit next. Now I'm going to recognize and construct multiple holes. Now everything greater than a 1-inch diameter, I can exclude it, but I'm going to leave it just like this on default. I'm going to hit next, and it has selected every hole on here. This is going to be really cool. Now I got some options you can read through. I can exclude some things, but for this tutorial I'm going to hit select all, and I'm going to hit finish. So all those counter bores, all those drills, and look at that. It did a whole lot of stuff. Now I have an error right here. Okay, it says the default spot drill cannot do an edge break, but that's okay. It's just letting me know that it can't do an edge break on some of these holes. So again, I'm going to hit play, and we're going to see that the majority of this part is all done. And to be honest with you, if I hadn't been talking this whole time and just doing it, we could have been done really fast. So just like that, it's drilling it, it's coming back through, doing a big old holes, doing the counter bores, it's drilling the small holes. And just like that, our part is all done, which is really cool. Now I'm going to change a couple things. This is part of that revision. So let's say my shop doesn't have these big old end mills that it has, right? So I'm going to hit eject, and we're going to come over here to the ladder, and on this side, on all of them, I'm going to change it to a 1/2-inch end mill. So I'm going to double click on it. We're going to go to rough, and I'm going to change it to a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to scroll up until I say a 1/2 inch high with a plus on it, and I'm going to use the same one for all of them so I don't have to set up multiple 1/2 inch end mills. I will simply hit apply. If I click on finish, it selects it automatically. Now I'm not going to hit OK. I'm going to go to this, and I'm just going to click on it, and you can see that it has gone to the side 2 properties. So I don't have to close my window, and I'm going to go click on that same 1/2 inch. I'm going to click apply. We'll click on side 3, click on rough, and I'm going to just keep on hitting apply until I get to the last one. And this one, it has 2 different roughs. So I'm going to go to rough pass, tools. It has a 1/2 inch regular. Now keep in mind, I've selected a 1/2 inch high. So if I select a 1/2 inch regular, I will have 2 1/2 inch tools I have to load into the machine. I don't want to do that. That's extra work on my part. So I'll click and hit apply. I'll click on this one. See how it's got this one right here? It's a 5/16. I'm going to go ahead and click on the plus to kind of keep it across the board. Hit apply. And then on finish 2, it did the default. So that worked out really good. And then on my pocket, let's double click on my pocket. And let's make this like a 3/4 tool. Okay? So I'll go 3/4 high plus. I'm going to hit apply. It will change it to the finish. But something I want to do on my step overs is I'm going to take my step over distance between cuts, because it is a 3/4 tool. I'm going to change this to 85%, and I'm going to hit apply. And then I'm going to go to milling, and on the Z increments, and I'm going to change this to 10 thousandths. That's super light. I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to come over here and we're going to hit play. Now I've sped this up so we can see all those 10 thousandths depth of cuts. And once it gets done with that, it will usually plug everything else really stinking quick. Now we're going to go through and we're going to change one more thing. On these sides in the pocket, it's leaving 50 thousandths for a finish cut. Well, I want to change that to 10 thousandths. So I'll click on my side. I'll go to rough. I'm going to go to milling. And see how it says finish allowance? We're going to change that to 10 thousandths and hit set apply. And then again, I just have to click on it and keep going to the rest of them. So we'll do this really quick. I'll hit Set, Apply. Click on side number 3 on rough, milling, 10 thousandths, Set, Apply. I'll come up to side 4. Now side 4 will be a little bit different because there's 2 roughing passes. I'll click on rough, and I'm going to leave 10 thousandths right there. I'll hit Set and Apply. And then I'm going to go down to my pocket. I'm going to go to rough, milling, and I'll leave 10 thousandths for that as well. So roughing, leave that amount, hit Set, Apply, hit OK, and I'm going to hit Apply one more time. And the good news is all of that is all done, which means at this point in time, after it puts all my holes in, I'm going to go to NC Code, and you can see that I have all this code for this project. All right, so this is tutorial number 2, and we're going to save it real fast. So go File, Save As. Remember, we want to save it as a .fm file because we don't want it being lost. So I'll set it as 2.5 milling, which I already have one right there, and it looks very much the same, just the color's a little different. And I'll just hit Save, but I don't want to save over something I've already done. So I'll hit _2, and then I'll simply hit Save. And then it asks me if I want to hit the toolpath. I hit yes. So all that in a nutshell is just us bringing in a model, setting in the zeros, doing some pocketing, using automatic feature recognition to see the holes and the boss and everything else to make this part. Very simple, very quick. That's why the software exists. So again, my name is Aaron Ruck. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next tutorial.